Good evening and welcome to episode 175. As always, let's start with our gratitude attitude. So, if you would please gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, let all your stress melt away. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, completely relax yourself. Now, think of one thing that you're thankful for that happened in the past week. Once you identified that, think about why you're thankful. And now let's set it free. If you're by yourself, say it out loud what you're thankful for and why. If you're with someone, tell it to each other. Okay. So, I hope you're enjoying this series on how to understand the mind. We've been discussing different mental factors for the past few weeks. So, today, let's talk about virtual state of mind, virtuous state of mind, I should say. Means good state of mind, positive state of mind. There are 11 virtuous states of mind, and these are naturally virtue, just like sugar is naturally sweet, right? These states of mind are virtuous no matter what, if you have it. And these are faith, sense of shame, consideration for others, non attachment, non hatred, non ignorance, effort, mental suppleness, conscientiousness, equanimity, and non harmfulness. Let's break this down. Let's start with faith. Faith is a mental factor, a mental state of mind that exists to eliminate non-faith. So if you want to understand faith, we have to understand non-faith. And there are three types of non-faith. non faith of disbelief, non faith of non admiration, and non faith of not wishing. Sounds complex, but it's quite simple. Let's take the first one, non faith of disbelief. It is essentially not believing in a correct object, where it is necessary to believe to make spiritual progress. What does that mean? Let's say you want to meditate. If you don't believe that it will help you calm your mind or give you mental peace, and however short, right? It's not going to work. Because without belief, we will not put an effort. And without effort, nothing ever works, as we all know. Non faith in non admiration causes us to see faults in spiritual teachers or gurus. And we all tend to criticize one guru or other, right? Every now and then. And a few years ago, I made a practice to not criticize any spiritual teacher, whether I follow them or not. Obviously, if I'm following them, I'm not criticizing them. But even if I'm not following them, I stop criticizing them because they are guiding other people through their spiritual journey. Whether, that's the fact. So who am I to criticize them? Non faith in not wishing is a mind that does not desire to make spiritual progress. In my opinion, of all non faith, that's the worst, right? Because it prevents you from practicing to begin with. And faith overcomes all of these non faiths. You realize that the function of faith is to induce virtuous aspiration. Because without faith in a particular practice, we will not wish or we won't have aspiration to engage in it. And without wish, there is no effort. And without effort, there is no result, right? Faith is just not necessary for spiritual practice, it's also necessary for daily life. Let me give you an example. A good friend of mine is suffering some physical pain. This has been going on for at least a year, I want to say. He went to several doctors. So I asked him, I said, why don't you get a surgery? So, it will help you. He said something interesting. He said, Nirav, I just don't trust my doctors. You see, without faith in his doctor, he will not commit to a surgery. And without that surgery, he's not going to get better. Faith removes hesitation. It's also a source of attainment of happiness. How do you attain happiness by faith, you may ask? Well, faith is source of all virtuous karma. And virtuous karma are the source of our happiness. Faith also helps us eliminate pride. And as we all know, pride is a source of a lot of our problems, if not all of our problems. It's the faith which ultimately leads us to liberation and enlightenment. So there are three types of faith: believing faith, admiring faith, and wishing faith. Believing faith is a belief in any object that is conducive to spiritual progress. Admiring faith arises when we contemplate good qualities of virtuous objects. Wishing faith is a wish to follow spiritual path based on recognition as good results, right? Good potential outcome. The next virtuous state of mind is sense of shame. Because when we have sense of shame, it prevents us from committing negative actions. Because it's not suitable for us, right? I can't do that, right? Like we won't swear, right? Because there's some shame attached to that. If mosquito is bothering us, right? Instead of killing it, you say, there's no right to kill a mosquito, right? And you will just flicker it off because there's shame in killing a living being. So it actually, sense of shame acts as a foundation for our morality, if you will, right? Moral discipline. Because it prevents us from committing negative karma by appealing to our own conscience. So, sense of shame prevents us from negative karma for consideration of ourselves, right? That I will look bad or it's not good for me, whatever, right? Consider for ourselves. The next virtuous state of mind, on the other hand, consider for others. This state of mind helps us avoid negative action out of consideration for other people or the living beings. Give you an example, right? If you avoid saying something unpleasant to someone because they'll feel bad, that's consideration of others. Not going fishing because it will harm the fish. Because if you look at all of our desires, at least some of them will harm others if we actually carry them out. So before we kind of act on our desire, we should think, is it harming someone else? Right? And together with sense of shame, which is consider for yourself and then consider for others, act as foundation for our moral discipline. Because without these two things, our behavior will be very negative. The next virtuous state of mind is non-attachment. It's the direct opponent of attachment. And we discuss this a lot of time, right? Attachment is one of three poisons, along with hatred and ignorance, that keeps us in samsara. We cannot attain liberation while staying attached to samsara. If we have attachment, we are controlled by our circumstances. Think about it. If a pleasurable object shows up, we automatically develop attachment. Now, answer to that is not that, hey, I'm going to avoid all pleasurable objects. Because otherwise, if you do that, you'll avoid all the food you like, all the clothes you wear, all the friends you hang out with, and so on, right? That's not the answer. Answer is to develop a mind of non-attachment while still enjoying the pleasurable objects. And the way to do this is to recognize the faults of attachment. The next virtuous state of mind is non-hatred. It's direct opponent of hatred. So hatred in this context is more like anger. And the great Indian yogi Shantideva, he said that there is no evil greater than anger. It has the power to destroy all of our merits accumulated over the eons. So unless we practice non-hatred, we will not be able to deal with anger. And unless we pacify our anger, we will not find inner peace. Because when we are angry, we cannot enjoy life. Depending on level of our anger, sometimes it even shows up as physical symptoms, right? It disturbs our sleep. And unless we have, exposure to dharma, we'll blame our enemies for all our problems. but it's actually our delusions, right? Our anger, our attachment, our hatred, our past karma, which causes the situation we are in. But if we keep blaming our so called opponents, right, then we will think of harming them. And that will create more negative karma. So if we see our hatred coming up, we should try to practice non hatred by thinking that it's not appropriate for me to hate this person because it will create more negative actions and will harm me in the future. When we start thinking like this, it will stop the hatred train right in its tracks before it leaves the station. Because non hatred will overcome frustration and allow us to respond to a situation in a calm and positive manner. Because when we practice non hatred, we have no enemies, right? Because we think, okay, whatever happened, it's happened because of my past karma, right? So we'll continue the discussion next week, and with the remaining virtuous states of mind. Um, but today, I'm thinking we do um, loving kindness meditation. So those of you who may not be familiar with that, as always, we will settle down at our hearts, right? And then we will first think of ourselves, right? And think, may I be happy? May I be loved? May I be free from misery? May I be joyful? And we contemplate that internally for a minute or so. Then we'll think of someone who's closest to us. And we visualize them and say, may you be happy. May you be loved. May you be free from misery. May you be joyful. And then we'll think of someone who we are not close to who at all, right? And say, may they be happy. May they be loved. May they be free from suffering. And may they be joyful. And at last, we'll think of all living beings. And we'll think, may we be happy. May we be loved. May we be free from suffering. And may we be joyful. So that's the idea. And I'm going to walk you through the whole process, of course. So please, if you're ready, get into your meditation posture. Your back straight. Your spine upright. Your shoulders leveled. Gently close your eyes. Keep your mouth just a little bit open. So any stress you may have developed in your jaws will dissipate. Palms in your lap, right over left, thumbs gently touching each other. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, relax your body. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, see all your stress drip away. Take one more deep breath. As you exhale, let your body completely loose like a rag doll. Bring your attention to the sensation of your breath at your nostrils. Feel the cool air as you breathe in. Feel slightly warmer air as you breathe out. Keep your attention on your breath for about a minute or so. Your attention at your heart. Imagine everything that happened before this moment melts into light and disappears. Things that have not yet happened are not real anyway. So it is just this moment. Enjoy the peaceful nature of your root mind in this moment. Let this peaceful moment bring the next peaceful moment. Remember, there is nothing to do. There is nowhere to go. Just enjoy. Now, think about yourself. Visualize your own self and think, may I be happy. May I be loved. May I be free from suffering. May I be joyful. Contemplate that. Now, imagine someone who is closest to you, right in front of you, and think, may you be happy. May you be loved. May you be free from misery. May you be joyful. Now, think of someone who you're not close to, your postman or your grocery clerk, for example. Imagine them in front of you and think, may they be happy. May they be loved. May they be free from misery. May they be joyful. Now, imagine all the living beings throughout the universe are right in front of you. Imagine all of them are right in front of you and think, may we be happy. May we be loved. May we be free from suffering. May we be joyful. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. Any questions? Okay, no questions. I'm going to stop recording.